explainer. Today, we're diving into a modern gemological detective story that seriously has it all. A baffling mystery, some really high-tech science, and a billion-dollar industry that was thrown into absolute chaos.
So, let's get right into it. The whole thing kicks off when the market is suddenly flooded with these sapphires, and their color is just unbelievably vibrant, so perfect that it really seemed too good to be true. And you know what? It absolutely was.
All right, let's set the scene. It's late 2001. All of a sudden, dealers start seeing these stunning, fiery orange and what they call pad-paradsha-colored sapphires popping up, mostly out of Thailand. I mean, they're gorgeous, but there's a huge problem. Nobody has a clue where this incredible color is coming from. It was a complete mystery.
And things moved so fast. In just a matter of months, what started as a few whispers in the market blew up into a full-blown international investigation. We're talking top minds from gem labs all over the world getting involved. The race was on to figure this thing out. This right here, this was the first major break in the case. When investigators got these gems under a microscope, they saw something really weird. The color wasn't solid all the way through. No, it was just a super thin orange layer, basically a skin, that was covering a much less valuable pink sapphire. This was no act of nature.
So the million-dollar question became, what on earth was causing this strange surface color? You know, the answer wasn't going to be found with the traditional jeweler's loupe. This was going to require the heavy machinery of a national laboratory and a brilliant scientist named John Emmett.
And boom, here it is. Emmett and his team finally identified the secret ingredient, beryllium. They figured out that if you heat a sapphire to insane temperatures with this tiny element present, the beryllium could literally soak into the gem's crystal lattice, changing its color from the outside in. This was a whole new ballgame.
You see, the process was unbelievably clever. The people doing this weren't just heating stones, they were performing some high-level chemistry. They were essentially glazing a thin yellow layer onto a pink stone, and by doing that, they could create a super valuable orange gem out of material that was worth a whole lot less.
Now, this is what made the treatment so crazy hard to detect at first. We are talking about an almost undetectable amount of beryllium, just 20 to 30 parts per million. To put that in perspective, it's like a few drops of ink in a giant swimming pool. It was this almost ghostly presence that was completely rewriting the value of these stones.
So, armed with this new science, gemologists finally knew exactly what to look for. The color literally followed the facets, the flat cuts of the stone. Which means, and this is wild, if you tried to repolish the gem, that beautiful orange color would just vanish. This was the smoking gun they needed to definitively identify these treated stones.
But, revealing the science is one thing. Dealing with the economic fallout, that's something else entirely. This discovery didn't bring the industry together. Oh no. It tore it apart. As soon as the secret was out, the battle lines were drawn.
The industry just completely fractured. On one side, you had the scientists and consumer watchdogs demanding full, open disclosure. But on the other side, you had dealers who were sitting on millions of dollars of this treated inventory, and they were trying to argue that, hey, it's just another form of heat treatment. It got ugly, and it got ugly fast.
This quote from the former president of the American Gem Trade Association just hits the nail on the head. He knew that without trust, without total transparency, the market for these stones was going to completely collapse. And he was 100% right. The second the public found out about this treatment, the value of any undisclosed stones just plummeted.
But here's the really interesting part. As shocking as all this was, the gem world had seen this exact kind of fight play out before. This wasn't some brand new story. It was a pattern, a cycle that just kept repeating itself.
I mean, just look at this timeline. The pattern is undeniable. Decade after decade, some new treatment comes along, it's kept secret for a while, then scientists expose it, a huge controversy erupts, and the industry gets dragged kicking and screaming toward more transparency. Beryllium was just the latest, and maybe the most sophisticated chapter in a very old book.
So after all the chaos, the fighting, the financial losses, what was the end result? Well, while the beryllium wars were incredibly painful in the short term, they ultimately became a catalyst for some really positive, lasting change.
When the dust settled, the scandal had actually forced the industry to grow up. It led directly to better lab equipment, much stricter rules about disclosure, and a public that was way more educated about what they were buying. So in the end, this massive fight for the truth actually made the entire market stronger and, frankly, more honest.
This quote really gets to the very heart of the whole affair. The beryllium saga forced everyone to ask a really fundamental question. What makes a gemstone valuable? Is it its natural, untouched rarity, or is it just about visual perfection, no matter how you get there? Thanks to this whole controversy, we now have the science to actually tell the difference, and it serves as a permanent reminder that in a world of precious gems, the most valuable commodity of all is trust.